Live from their studio in South Florida, Twist Gaming. Featuring lead broadcaster, Matt Koza. Co-host and creative genius, Josh Perry. Co-host and interviewer extraordinaire, Ann Lazito. Co-host and marketing mogul, Aaron Murphy. With appearances from special guest, Lucy. Welcome to Twist Gaming, where you get to play board games with us. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We welcome you to Twist Gaming, the greatest show on Twitch. Why, thank you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. This is Twist Gaming. I'm Matt.
I'm Ann.
I'm Josh.
And this is our first impression session of our Spotlight stream, where we talk about the game that we just played, in this case, in case you couldn't tell by the garb, Ringmaster by Ultra Pro. So in our first impression session, we talk about our favorite aspects of the game, any constructive criticisms that we might have, and finally, the most important question of the evening, of would we play this game again? But before we go any further, in center stage, we would like to thank Ultra Pro for sponsoring this stream and all of this week's streams with their spotlight of Ringmaster. So as I said initially, in the first of the three rings, we've got our favorite aspects of the game. So Joshua, I'm going to have you start us out here. What were some aspects of the game that you really enjoyed?
The art was awesome.
Yeah.
It's a really pretty game. I like the... Not every card was 100% unique, but most of them were.
Yeah, most of the cards were unique. There was, I think, just a couple of the action cards.
No, it was just the attraction cards.
I'm sorry, the attraction cards, not the action. The Big Top and the Three-Ring Circus, I think.
And the exotic
birds.
exhibit.
And the birds, yes. Those were the only non-unique cards, I think.
Yeah. And the rings made sense.
Yeah, the rings made sense.
The Big Tops, which I just had more ways to have a win condition, because those were the only attractions that had a win condition.
Yeah.
They could have done something else for the birds. Because it was just an attraction. It wasn't anything special.
Yeah.
That's true. They could have had different varieties of exotic animal exhibits. That's in the future segment, though. And how about you?
I enjoyed that this game was very easy to pick up and play.
Absolutely.
And it was a very enjoyable experience. It was very rewarding when you managed to chain something together to win.
Like
what is that?
Juggling clown.
That's what you gave to everybody else, the joy of winning.
You did.
The joy of cooking, the joy of winning. And I think when you lost, the game goes by quickly enough where it's fun to jump back in.
Absolutely. So this game is a card game where it's basically a read the card, do what the card says, and that's how you win.
Draw a card, play a card, read the card.
Exactly. And it's a 10-minute game. So this is a very, very quick game. It's very... it's a take that card game. At the same time, what I enjoyed is that it didn't feel too punishing.
No.
It did have a lot of like cyclical movements of cards where like I'm destroying your card, I'm taking a card. I don't know if it's the art style or the way in which the cards were worded. I thought it was cute, and I didn't particularly find it overly frustrating. Granted, I won almost every time. But Josh, how did it appear from your perspective? Did it seem like it was a little too cutthroat, or was it enjoyable?
This seems super cutthroat.
Now, I would like to point out that you two are people that enjoy cutthroat games.
Yeah, I am definitely a backstabby person, and I enjoy more take-that-y styles.
Certain styles would take that.
Yeah.
I personally do not enjoy take-that games, but for this game, I enjoyed the different things you could do to influence the table.
Okay.
And that was fun. Like, for example, the train card.
Right. So there was overall player interaction where you're influencing everyone at once and not just
picking on somebody.
on one person.
Yes, I think I really enjoyed that. And it was fun ways to do it. Like, discard everything, and then, the train it goes out of the juggling card. Like, everybody gets impacted by the things that you do.
Yeah. And one of the things also that I really enjoyed is that while it is a quick 10-minute game and it's pretty simplistic overall, there were several different win styles that you can get. And that definitely did something for me because I, in the last game, was primed, as Josh was explaining, to win. I had 3 attraction cards in front of me, one of them being the Big Top, and I had another one in my hand, and I had the Carnival Barker in play, so I could immediately use one that was in the discard pile that existed. So you correctly played the choo-choo, the all aboard everyone or whatever it's called, and it forced the entire played cards to get discarded.
Yep.
I lucked out, and I got the knife juggling clown, which allowed me to play X number of unlimited cards from my hand, but at the end of the round, you'd have to discard your hand completely.
There's your train.
And I picked up 2 3-ring circuses, and I had a draw 2 card. So I drew 2 more cards, and I got another 3-ring circus, and I was able to chain that into a quick victory, basically a 1-turn victory on a pivot of what I was going for.
Yeah.
So I thought that was neat that it doesn't completely destroy your strategy of how you're playing.
As a matter of fact, like, I'm not a big fan of the nope cards in games, and there's only one.
There is one. And actually, I'm surprised it came out as often as it did. I guess it's because the deck is smaller. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying that as it came out in appropriate times.
Yes.
Because there's only one. You're only going to use it if someone's about to win.
So, yeah, you kind of, I guess you hoard it for that opportunity.
And it's not a miserable one on the other end because you still get to play another card.
Exactly.
You get to pivot.
And I remember interviewing Justin at, I believe, Gamma, and he referenced this card specifically, stating that his goal was he hates when people play nope cards, and it's just like you don't get to do anything on your turn. Your turn is completely for nothing.
Yeah.
So this card mitigates that with you're still allowed to do something. And the key factor here is that on your victory, Josh noped your winning card.
Yes.
And then you played another card, which was able to subvert the noped card.
Yes.
So I thought that was really neat as well.
That goes back, I think, to the various win conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like in this game, as you're playing the quick 10-minute game, you got to have, like, 2 things kind of going on to get your win.
Got to have backup plan. All right, so moving into the constructive criticisms portion of the game, our second ring, if you will. This is going to be where we talk about if we had the opportunity to change anything about the game, would we? And what would we change? So let's start it out with Anne this time.
Well, I want to steal Josh's, which is really, sorry.
I would have stolen it as well. I think we can all agree that it is the birds card didn't really have any flavor, the exotic exhibits. Yeah. So there could have been a couple of different attractions with unique art that had this count as one attraction.
That had fantastic, unique art on all of the pieces. I absolutely love the aged 1950s, 1940s art style, but the attractions were all the same, and that made me like, I was looking for something a little bit more. I think you could have even done like different big tops or different scenes. I know it adds to the cost of a game. I know that, and I know that art is expensive, but the value that you get is so much for that. You know what else would have been really fun? Fun circus facts for flavor text.
Or just plain flavor text.
Yeah.
Yeah, flavor text would have been cute. I agree with you with potentially the 3-ring circuses being the same art because they do have to directly play with each other. But the big tops and the exotic exhibits, I think, could have been even slightly different art just to give you some more variety of the cards. Because, like you said, the art style is so gorgeous and all of the other cards are essentially completely unique that it leaves you just wanting more, and you get almost disappointed when you see 2 identical cards in your hand.
Yeah. Yep.
Josh, how about you, now that we stole your topic?
I don't know if the game could... I felt there was almost no real strategy to the game. It was played what you're dealt.
It's pretty reactionary.
And you're just kind of reactionary, and then you had cards like the juggling... the clown juggling knife, which was completely OP.
I do feel that card was a little overpowered. I think that 2 or 3 of the victories that we had came directly from that.
Play any number of cards at the end of your turn, discord. Yeah, and to bounce off of that, he's categorized as a sideshow, which is you can play it in front of anybody, and they're supposed to be mostly negative, but there's not really a way that this card is a negative card to play.
Yeah.
I kind of feel it's a little miscategorized.
Kind of felt like if maybe this was like, you can play as many cards as you want, you can't win this round. So like,
or at the end of the round, you discard everything in front of you. So even if you even if it gets you significantly closer to winning, it just wipes your board clean or something to that.
It's a very reactionary game, and that's not my style. So
fair enough.
I was trying to, I had the knife juggling clown, but I was waiting to play it till I had a hand to win. Just never got the hand to win.
Right.
And that's what the situation I had in a lot of games was like, oh, I need this to win.
Maybe you
played
need to take
something.
more chances, Josh.
I,
I'm just messing with you.
but it
No,
was just,
I agree that this card was a little bit overpowered, I think.
yeah.
A little bit of mitigation of how strong it was to play unlimited number of cards. Just because at most you can play 2 cards on your hand during your turn otherwise if you had the Lion Tamer. Otherwise, it's only play 1 card. So being able to play essentially 5 cards on your hand besides the Knife Juggling Clown with potential draws in there as well is very, very powerful.
Yeah.
So with that, anything else that
What about you, Matt?
maybe you wanted to change up? I wholeheartedly agree with you on both of the points, really. The Knife Juggling Clown being maybe a little bit overpowered, as well as the yearning for some more unique art on the few duplicated cards that there are.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think the game played very cleanly. It was very quick to pick up. It was a quick game to play as well. And for the most part, I felt it was pretty balanced and didn't leave you feeling like you couldn't do anything on your turn.
I do think that this is a great game, like a great backpack game.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see the kids both being able to play this game. So if there was ever anything, like we were going anywhere or traveling, or if I was at work and wanted to introduce non-gamers to a game, I think this is a nice little gateway game.
I agree. The only thing is you have to watch out with take-that games being introduced to some people. It's not their cup of tea.
But it's not my cup of tea. I hate it when you take us out to an island and shoot me in the face and run away. It makes me very angry for years and years if you haven't been able to tell. But this, I do think that this is a nicer take-that game.
I would 100% agree with you.
Which I might not be as worried about introducing non-gamers
It's
to.
a less stabby take-that game.
Yeah.
All right, so moving into the final center ring of today's performance, the most important question of the evening of would you play this game again? Throwing it down at the end of the table, Joshua.
Maybe. If someone else really wanted to play. It's not my cup of tea. I mean, it's a nice little filler game. It is, but it's not my cup of tea. It wouldn't be something I would pull out. I wouldn't say no to playing it, but I wouldn't pull it out.
Fair enough. Anne?
Yeah, I would play this game. Actually, this box might come home with me tonight so we could play it at work tomorrow.
I might fight you for it. I thoroughly enjoyed the game. The few minor gripes that I have were outweighed with how I think the game satisfied my take-that appreciation for games without it being mean. I don't feel like this game is mean, and sometimes I feel like I need to apologize and hug the people I'm playing with for take-that games. And this was not the case. So with that is going to conclude today's first impression session. So thank you all for joining us, for all of you folks watching at home, either live or on video on demand. And thank you to Ultra Pro for sponsoring this stream and all of this week's streams with their spotlight of Ringmaster. If you haven't checked out our spotlight of the show, definitely go back and check that out on video on demand. We got, I think, 5 playthroughs of the game in.
Yeah, quite a few. They're real quick, and we each won different ways each time,
Well,
so that was kind of cool.
We each didn't win.
Now you're going to have to hug him and apologize.
Exactly. All right, so from all of us folks here at Twist Gaming, thank you all for stopping by. Good night, everyone.
Good night.